Hello, Second Act Women. This is Shelly Johnson. I am so excited to present the 7 steps to amplify your awesome. Thank you for joining us at your home. This day is going to be amazing for you, and I'm so blessed and honored and excited to be part of Barbara and Lupe's career camp. So let's go ahead and get started. Have you ever felt like this? You know what I mean? You're stuck in your career and you're like, I don't know what they want from me anymore. Or like you're scratching your head, like, why am I putting up with this? A toxic boss, misalignment with your values, professional goals that aren't being met. You're undervalued, you're underappreciated. You are feeling unsure about the future. You're scared. You're kind of in disconnection and disengagement because of everything that COVID has brought to you. And let's face it, ageism is real, and you feel like you've been overlooked or you're overqualified for positions. You know how you feel. So during this session, we're going to take you from feeling like these babies, that inner child that you have, and we're going to amplify what you're doing so that you feel better, more connected, and that you have a plan and a framework to move forward. So again, as a woman over 40, you may be completely overlooked for positions that you deserved, bored or unfulfilled. How many of you are bored out there and you've just been in your job kind of waiting? And now that the great resignation is happening, you're taking this course so that you can learn exactly what to do for your resume, your LinkedIn, and build strategies and tactics to execute instead of sending in hundreds of resumes and then hearing nothing from the perpetual abyss of the being ghosted. So if you're having these things as a woman over 40, we're going to definitely jump into those. Hi, I'm Shelly Johnson. I am an award-winning career and business strategist, and I work with people just like you, soul-inspired, high-achieving women that are ready, just bursting at the seams to amplify their business and career. My background includes being the director of talent acquisition for Comcast Technologies, a senior leader for Lockheed Martin and Honeywell, and I work with underrepresented BIPOC women in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, high-level, high-achieving executive women who are really just finished with corporate, and women who feel like they have so much more to give. And you might have kids going away to college, or you might be ready to take that next chapter in your life. That is what I do. And that is why I'm so grateful to Barbara and Lupe for allowing me to help you find that framework today. So in order to find that amplification in who you are, you have to get that connection back to yourself, to your heart and your soul. That's why I work with soul-inspired, heart-centered professionals who want that connection back with who they truly are. And my hope for you during this career camp is that you go back and you take pause and you think about what that would feel like for you, how that resonates with you, so that you go from up here to all of those negative thoughts and those negative emotions of, oh, I'm not good enough, or they're never going to listen to me. You might work in a bro culture or with the old boy network. And frankly, you're tired. And honestly, the shift that's happening in the career search and in industry has affected more women than any other group. The Great Resignation, COVID layoffs, transfers. Women aren't going back to work because they need to watch their kids. So if you know how that feels and you feel a disconnection, we're going to try to focus you so that you get that engagement and that connection back to who you are. When I talk about amplify, I am talking about how you can increase, turn up, boost, and expand how you resonate in the job search, how you resonate with hiring leaders and recruiters. But most importantly, it's how you resonate with yourself, how you connect with yourself to know your vision, your purpose, your values, what you do want in a career. Now, if you take this back and you look at the definition of the word amplify, it goes back to our DNA. It's proteins and atoms amplifying your genetic code so that you can be better. It's scientifically proven that when you increase or boost your energy, things come to you in a much better way. So let's show you how. Today, we're going to talk about the 7 steps to amplifying your career. And this is why this session is called Amplify Your Awesome. We're going to start with a vision, and we're going to ask you specific questions of how you can focus on your purpose and your vision. Then we're going to go into mindset, or what I call mental fitness and positive intelligence. And then we're going to talk about your strategy. Laser focused clarity on your strategy and how you execute your strategy with the tactics. And if you're not consistent, you're not going to fast track your job search. So consistency, methodical planning and scheduling and execution is necessary. And greasing those gears with positivity. And yes, I am going to talk about positivity, because if you're here, you might be having those negative thoughts like I'm not good enough, or be resentful, disassociated, depressed, sad, all of those negative emotions that get in our way and hijack us and sabotage us from being our absolute best. So let's get started. The first point in the framework is vision. And you can't build an efficient system without that clear vision. And so I'd like to pause for a moment, and I'd like you to pull up the worksheets that have been sent out to you. And I'd like you to pull those up and focus here on these worksheets. I'm going to stop my share for a moment, and I'm going to go to that worksheet so that you are very clear on what the next step is. It starts with a vision. So I'd like you to take 5 to 7 minutes from this recording to to consider the following question. I want you to take time and really listen to your soul. What is the universe bringing you? What is the signpost that you're hearing? And I want you to write down, what do you genuinely care about? The next question, what do you do effortlessly and naturally? What can you do that you don't have to push and that just comes automatically and organically to you? I'd like you to journal on who or what inspires you. What are you driven by? What are you passionate about is the 4th question. So as you take time to journal, to reflect on these things, these questions will help you begin the work of your vision and your purpose. So as we stated, go ahead and take 5 to 7 minutes and put the recording on pause, and then we'll be right back to you when you're ready. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed your work on really focusing on your vision. As I share my screen again with you, I want you now, step 2, to think about how to optimize your mindset. Can you imagine finding a company that aligns with your personal and professional values? Being able to talk about your story and having the clarity, the courage, and the confidence during interviews and networking. A lot of my clients are scared to death of networking. And that negative judge, that inner critic comes in and tells them, you're not good enough. They don't want to hear what you have to say. Your experience isn't as good as other people's. And this also happens when you're negotiating. Your emotional intelligence goes out the window and you just accept the first thing that's provided to you. I can't even tell you, so many women with who I work with, once they find their voice, once they increase their mental fitness muscles and they use positive intelligence. I've had 2 clients in the past 3 months double their total compensation, and 14 of my clients have landed in the past 3 months with a 31% increase in pay, deeper relationships, more connection to who they are, and much more work-life harmony. That's what mindset is all about. That's what understanding how you quiet that judge, how you build curiosity, knowledge, navigate difficult conversations differently. That's a part of the framework that I do that's outside of this webinar. Go ahead and look at positiveintelligence.com, and you can take the free saboteur assessment and get your PQ score. Again, positiveintelligence.com, the second tab and the third tab to find out where you are, and those are free for you. You can also watch the TEDx talk by Shirzad Shamin under the About Me section of Positive Intelligence. If you are interested in that, you're more than welcome to read the book or let me know and I can absolutely help you with that. But all of my clients go through this and their transformations have been amazing. And this is about your transformation. When you get your vision and your mindset right, that is what's going to help you connect and be more engaged with yourself. We all love Oprah, right? So Oprah says that passion is energy. When you feel the power that comes from focusing on what excites you, think about how faster your days are going to go, about how you're going to be driven to build your career, to build your business, to build you, so that you have the energy, the enthusiasm, the bravery, and the visibility to go after what you want. This is what it's about for you. And that is my sincere hope that that is what you're getting today. The third part of the framework is starting with the big picture and then breaking it down into micro steps. This is where you might ask yourself questions like, what industry am I focused on? Again, what industry am I focused on? What transferable skills do I have that could be leveraged as part of my strategy? What are my target companies? Are those target companies aligned with my personal vision and my professional vision that I'm now developing? Does the company align with sustainability, environmental, and inclusivity topics that you're passionate about? Is the company stable? Are they growing? These are all questions that you can leverage to focus on the execution of your strategy. So I want you to think about those things. I don't have a worksheet for you, but I want you to write those questions down. What industries, what target functions, what transferable skills do you have so that you can map out your own strategy with who do you have to network with? Who is in your network or your circle of influence? How do you stretch that circle of influence and make sure that your strategy is laser focused? These are all questions that you can ask yourself. And after you have answers to them, it's time to execute your tactics. Let's talk about some examples here. One of my clients was an assistant dean at Colorado State, and she felt really just disillusioned and like she was going round in circles on that hamster wheel. So we got her mental fitness started. She applied for a role at the Denver Zoo, and she is now a senior leader at the Denver Zoo because her passion, she got very clear on her tactics. She wanted to stay in animal and human connection. She wanted to develop from an academic standpoint to a professional standpoint. She leveraged her network. She reached out to the CEO of the Denver Zoo. She focused on exactly the values and the principles and the vision and mission of what the zoo was doing. She got that position, and she is now so much happier, deep relationships, and cannot wait to make such an impact. Another example of how to execute your tactics. I had a client in her 40s, single mom, only because her husband was number 3 in the Army for operations in Afghanistan. So during COVID, her husband was deployed in Afghanistan. She was working 12 hours a day for a very large aerospace company. And her kids, she had to homeschool her kids because of COVID. Her kids were getting sick. Her own health was decreasing, and she was expected to turn out lots of communications for the chief technology officer of this multi-billion-dollar company. She was drowning, stressed out, burnt out, and just could not continue in the manner. So we got her vision very clear: less work hours, making the same amount of money, focused on her kids, focused on work-life harmony, focused on deeper relationship with the Army. And we put an exit strategy together for her. She left her employer. She's now consulting 28 hours a week, making the same amount of money, no commute. Her health has improved so much. Her level of stress way down, so much so that she referred her husband when he was looked over for a promotion in the Army, which then he started in the positive intelligence program and decreased his own stress levels while in Afghanistan. So you have to execute your tactics. You have to get your vision and your mental fitness and your strategy right so that you can turn it up, be consistent, make a marked improvement, and amplify your tactics and how you execute them. This is not about applying to 100 roles and then being ghosted. You know how that feels? You know how that feels. Or sending out an application that's never looked at, or doing an interview that you didn't resonate with, or that was just the wrong fit for you, or getting an offer that pays you less than what you're making now. No. If you execute in the right way, you're speaking your truth, and you know that connection to who you are, that is going to resonate at a higher level. That is how you amplify what you are doing. Now, the next piece of this is one of the most important. So I want you to pay attention here. You have to figure out the Sunday night problem. You might be saying to yourself, Shelly, what on earth is the Sunday night problem? What keeps the employer up or the client up at night? You remember when you were back in the workforce, you're in the workforce and you're thinking about Monday. What problems are you thinking about? What growth issues are you thinking about before the week even starts? If you can come up with the solution to those pain points or those growth points, that is the Sunday night problem that you can solve. So I want you to think about, and I want you to put me on pause after just a minute of instructions. And I want you to think about, what is the Denver Business Journal talking about? What are pain points in industry right now? What companies are growing? Who are the top 25 women of influence from the Colorado Women's Chamber of Commerce? What are they doing? What tactics are they using? Is ageism a pain point? That is how Second Act Women is helping. I am helping the pain point of people are dissatisfied and the great resignation is happening. We provide solutions that way, but think about how you provide solutions for growth companies or companies who have a lot of pain. Let me give you a couple of examples. The oil and gas industry absolutely nosedived in 2020. Gas prices were down, people were not commuting as much or at all, and the oil and gas industry took a huge hit. While mortgages and lending was increasing because interest rates were down. I have a client who found the pain point for gas companies and the pain point for title companies. So she did two tactics. She found exactly in the oil and gas companies who was in charge of a certain pain point. She did the same thing for lending companies because she worked in title management. My client, 65-year-old woman, had 2 offers in one day because she was able to answer the Sunday night problem of the oil and gas industry and the mortgage industry. If you can do that, if you can tee up the answers to the problems and talk about it at every point of communication, that is how you amplify your awesome. Now you might be saying, but Shelly, this is so hard. How do I figure out those pain points? Restaurants couldn't open for business, so they brought in those bubbles. Or if you're down in Cherry Creek, they brought tables outside. Solution to a pain point. Healthcare workers were working on telemedicine. Zoom is the answer to telemedicine pain points. Frontline workers and burnout, bringing in mental health to help counsel them so that they can deal with COVID patients. So I hope that you're getting the sense of where those pain points are and how you really do have to think about, it's not going to come to you. Using this framework is just that, it's a framework. But at the end of the day, you have to have the motivation, you have to do the research, and you have to figure these things out. What is the Denver Post saying? What is the Business Journal saying? What are conferences that you should be going to? Maybe you put Startup Week on your calendar. Maybe you join some meetups that get you in front of the right people. These are all tactics that I hope will help you amplify your awesome and help figure out the Sunday night problem. Now, let's put it all to work. Did you know that if you scheduled something on your calendar, you are 5 times more likely to do it? So I want you to put time on your calendar to go back to the beginning of the framework, work more on your vision, and think about your purpose. Do the research within positiveintelligence.com. Schedule an hour to do the saboteur, to find out your PQ score, and to think through all of the tactics and the strategies that you have to use. If you schedule it, you're much more likely to do it. The hard part sometimes is getting out of our own way because we don't trust ourselves enough, and that inner critic and that judge run our lives. It's kind of like our thoughts running our life instead of us pausing, stopping those thoughts, and us taking action innovation, creativity, and execution so that we run our own lives. If you're at the grocery store, playing tennis, out hiking, biking, living that awesome Colorado lifestyle, and something pops up, write it on your phone, put it in the notes section, make yourself a dictation. Don't lose that idea. If you're waking up at 2:30 in the morning because of that stress, but you get a creative idea, write it down. This is how you are amplifying, making an intense and marked change in what you're doing. So right now, I'd like to pause and I'd like to take you back to the second page of the worksheets. The first one, again, you're thinking about how you can really build your vision and your purpose. The second worksheet goes into focusing you on how you're going to amplify your career. So I'd like you to find your worksheet, and I'd like us to go through the worksheet where you are going to take 5 minutes to answer the 3 questions. The first of the questions is, what are you afraid of? Again, what are you afraid of? What fear is holding you back from living your best life and having an abundant career? What is that fear costing you? What's it costing you? What are you afraid to do? Who are you afraid to reach out to? What's it costing you? Weeks and weeks of, oh, the should have wheel. The last question is, what do you commit to over the next 3 weeks to break that cycle of fear? I really want you to think about this. And you, again, should have the second page in the worksheets. I want you to answer these 3 questions, and I want you to take 5 minutes to think about, what are you afraid of, or what that fear is costing you? And then what do you commit to doing? Scheduling things, reaching out to someone in your circle of influence, stretching yourself. Take 5 minutes and think about that. I'm going to pause for just a moment. Welcome back. I hope you were able to get some really clear understanding of what that fear is within you, because fear really is future events that appear real. And if fear is the main piece over faith, then I hope that this webinar so far has given you a little bit more faith in yourself to get over some of those fear and put your stake in the ground so that you can amplify your awesome. So let's go back to the presentation, and let's chat about the 5th step, which is being consistent. Is this really a step, or is it a change of time management, self-discipline, self-control, accountability, and overcoming challenges? When you are consistent, you look forward in a different way. You make that intense change and transformation on a consistent, methodical basis, rather than doing it from sometimes I'm going to do this, sometimes not. It's kind of like a seesaw. Sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down. Sometimes you're down, sometimes you're up. And it's not stable. And it's not consistent. You're basically spinning your wheels without that consistency. So schedule it, focus on it, and put it out to the universe to help you and manifest. When you do this, it increases your self-discipline, your self-control. It creates accountability for you to actually do it. It stretches you to overcome those challenges. And step 6 is when, just like Eleanor Roosevelt says, if you do one thing every day that scares you, you are going to get ahead in life. So I want you to think about what Eleanor Roosevelt is talking about here. You're stretching yourself, and I congratulate you for being here. But what happens when this isn't going on? I want you to schedule it for yourself. I want you to have more consistency, and I want you to do something every day that scares you. Number 6 on the framework is leveraging positivity. And this goes back to mental fitness and positive intelligence. When you are focused in a curious way and you're living a heart-centered, soul-inspired life, it is scientifically found that you will get higher salaries, greater success in work, your marriage or your alignment with your partner or your significant other improves, your friendships, your creativity, your innovation, because you're coming at it from a point of faith versus all of that gross, cringy, negative emotions. You're coming at it from creativity, innovation, curiosity, learning, gaining more knowledge, and acceptance of what is in front of you. Negotiators with higher PQ are more likely to gain consensus, close deals, and forge important future business relationships as part of the contracts they negotiate. That means you're negotiating for you. You're networking for you. You are looking for something different. And so that positivity with consistency really allows you to step 7, which is amplifying your success. Clear vision, healthy mindset, a deliberate strategy with consistent, methodical positivity. This is how you amplify your career. This is how you become your own superhero to leverage your superpower, whatever it might be. It doesn't matter if you have gray hair. It doesn't matter if you have 25 years of experience that has been overlooked. This is about you feeling better, getting in front of the right people, most importantly, amplifying that connection to who you are. So, as Simone Biles has recently stated, it doesn't matter where you start, it's where you're going and how you pick yourself back up from those falls, because we've all fallen. That's probably why you're here, because you've fallen and you need some guidance. So Simone says, dream big and then dream bigger. I want you to dream bigger. You never know where your dreams are going to take you. My dreams brought me to you today so that I can help be your ally and focus you on how you can amplify your connection within yourself and externally as well. But here's the secret. You got to get out of your own way. You have to trust yourself, because you know what? You've got this. You truly have got this. I'd like to go back to those babies. Remember those crying babies at the beginning? I want you to have the confidence, the clarity, the joy of moving forward in your career with heart-centered, soul-inspired positivity and leadership. No more crying in the background. Don't get me wrong. As women, we're all going to have emotion around that. But those emotions and they should be on a positive perspective, because we know our worth. We speak our truth and we live our best life. I invite you to go to my website, bestyoucareeradvantage.com. Under Career Camp, you'll be able to find the guide to the step-by-step guide to building your own career amplifier. Download this, subscribe to my email, and we have lots of events that are free for you. I run Colorado Career Connectors, and I invite you to join us every other Monday for some of the top talent acquisition leaders in Denver and across the country. We're going to talk to you about recruitment behind, or life behind the recruitment curtain. I'd love to have you join me for any of my webinars, my meetups, because it's about you, because it's about time that you amplify your awesome. So let's connect. Here's how you get in touch with me as well. I'm on LinkedIn under Shelly, Chelle Johnson. My phone number is 602-448-9600. 9552. And again, please look at the website bestyoucareeradvantage.com. Thank you. Thank you to Second Act Women, to Barbara and Lupe. And it's time that you get out of your own way. Amplify your awesome. Let's go. Thanks for joining me.